And there's a really wonderful article that I'll send to you so that you can read it and you can look at the pictures. So Sandra Anderson has taught a course on Prana Vayus in Honesdale quite a few times. And I'm kind of following her model and choosing the practices that she did. I actually got to go down to Honesdale and do it live a long time ago. So we know that we have an energy body. We know that there is prana, chi, life force flowing through our bodies. And we might just think it's just randomly flowing, right? That there is no specific function to it, right? So we might have an idea of things like nadis that are the channels prana moves through. We might have an idea of the chakras, which are places where many nadis come together and pranic energy pools, right, becomes more focused. But prana also serves specific functions, and there are 5 of them. So we'll do one each week for 5 weeks. And then the last 3 weeks of this course, we're going to just look at more integrated practices. So we'll be working with all 5, okay? And the first one we're going to look at is called Prana Vayu. So it's a little bit confusing sometimes because they are the capital P, Prana Vayus, and the first one happens to be called Prana Vayu. So you might think about New York City being inside of New York State, right? So New York State is the bigger thing, right? And New York City just happens to have the same name as the state that it's in, okay? So Prana Vayu has the function of bringing energy into our bodies. So that could be through food, that can be through our senses, and most importantly, through respiration, right? Bringing incoming breath. So when we're working with Prana Vayu, specifically is the upper part of the body, the chest, head, nose, eyes. And so our focus today in our practice and in our pranayama practice, so both asana and pranayama, will be this upper part of the body. And the idea is that when we bring in enough energy, we feel vibrant, right? We feel balanced, we feel enthusiastic about life. When Prana Vayu is not functioning optimally, we feel depressed, lethargic, not engaged, right, with life. So the most important things we're looking at here are good breathing, right, taking in enough incoming breath. We're looking at structural alignment too through the upper body, so holding our shoulders, our neck, our head in alignment and holding them comfortably, okay? And I think that's about all I want to say. It will become apparent. So what I like so much about how Sandy did this is she presented the idea of this function of prana, and then you get to experience it in your own body, okay? So we're going to move right into practice now. If you can have a Kleenex, that's something special today for the pranayama. And then also a block is good, and whatever you sit on for meditation, and then whatever you need for the relaxation practice. So you have some blankets or a comfortable place to lie down as well, okay? So are there any questions on anything before we get going? Everyone good? All right, very good. So we're gonna start in our seated position. I'm gonna go back to my cushion and I'm gonna put everybody on mute for now. If you need anything, feel free to unmute, okay? So you can just go ahead and turn your microphone on, let me know. Okay, great. Make sure I don't leave the chair in frame. I sometimes forget about it. All righty. Okay, so let's start off seated on our cushion. And we're just going to take a moment here to sit up nice and tall through the center line of the body and to start to focus on warming up shoulders, neck, and the muscles in the face. Okay, So let's bring our shoulders up to the ears, press back, release down, and then roll forward. So drawing the shoulders close in front. And with all of these movements, we're very slow. And we're looking for our biggest movement. So the keywords are slow and big. And part of this idea of working with the body chronically means we're moving into sensation. So we're definitely interested in what we're doing mechanically speaking, physically speaking, but I'd like you also to have an awareness of what you're feeling. So what does it feel like in your body as the shoulders are moving? Observing any little clicks, cracks, observing sensation in the muscles, the movement of the bones. Good. And just feeling it back and down. Good. And now keeping the breastbone lifted, we'll drop the chin down towards the chest and just releasing the weight of your head. So make your head heavy. And we're going to bring our fingertips to the back of the neck, and you'll feel those two rope-like muscles that travel along either side of the vertebra. So you're not right in center, you're about 1 inch off on either side, and using pointer fingers and middle fingers to draw little circles. Okay, so we're drawing little circles down those muscles. Good. And as you're doing that, keep the head heavy so the chin continues to drop down towards the chest. Chest stays gently lifted. And it feels good to draw circles. It feels good to drag the fingers up and down. And you can decide for yourself how much pressure. Good. And now we can pinch that place where the neck and shoulders meet. Again, so those little squeezes there. And if you're in that place where you're observing what's happening, you might notice that as you're releasing tension through your neck, through your shoulders, your breathing might be changing as well. All of a sudden, it's becoming, it's coming into your awareness, and you might find that it's starting to deepen on its own. Good. And then we can bring the hands back down to resting on the knees. The head is still dropped. And let's bring the head into a rotation. So the right ear towards the right shoulder and across back. Left ear to left shoulder, chin to chest. Good. Now dropping your head all the way back during neck rolls, is it all irritating or pinches your neck? You can just come through the center line and do more of a half circle. So it doesn't agree with everyone's neck to drop the head back. And as you're moving, just notice if your shoulders are starting to creep up towards your ears and just drop them down. Good. And then let's take it the other way. Good, keep moving. Observing sensation. Observing any little sounds. And then the next time that your chin is down at your chest, we're going to bring our head back to neutral. So once again, you're looking straight forward. Okay. And now we're going to interlace the fingers and we're going to place the hands underneath the chin. And we're going to think about moving our spine in a way that is rather like cat and cow. Okay. So as you inhale, bring the breath in through the nose, you're filling your belly, and then you're filling your chest, your elbows are lifting, the spine is moving into extension, and the eyes are at the ceiling. And then as you exhale, the chest is emptying, the belly is squeezing in, and the spine is rounding. Good, so this is complete breath. Inhale, fill the belly. Elbows lifting, fill the chest. And when you've taken in as much breath as you can, your eyes are at the ceiling. And then as you exhale, elbows are lowering, chest is emptying, belly is emptying and squeezing in. You might even squeeze your elbows towards one another. Okay, so keep going just like this for 3 more breaths. And just remember that slow is good. So if you find yourself kind of hurrying, all right, and we have a tendency to do that. We just hurry through our day to get everything done. And if you're seeing that in yourself, make this movement 10% slower. Can you do that? Good. So the complete breath, when we think of pranayama, is one of our most invigorating and relaxing breaths. It serves both functions. Good. And then let's come to neutral. So we're looking straight ahead, and we're going to have the fingers interlaced above the crown. Flip the palms up towards the ceiling, and as you inhale, press palms up. And then exhale, soften the elbows. Okay, we're going to do 4 more just like this. Inhale. Exhale. Good. Still thinking along the lines of a complete breath. Taking the time to inhale completely. Exhale completely. Good. 2 more. And the next time you come up, we're going to hold this. So inhale, press up. Good. Let your breath flow. So you're breathing normally, pressing, pressing, pressing. And then release. Good. The hands are now on the knees. We're going to undulate the spine. So pressing the chest and belly forward, draw out to your side, around back and other side. Nice and easy, shoulders are released. And just feeling the movement of the spine. And your hands might press your knees into the floor just a little bit, creating a strong base. Good. And then let's take it the other way. And then back to center. Okay, I think I said we were doing Bhastrika. That's coming up in a later class. We're going to be doing Kapalabhati, but we still need the tissues. So let's have the Kleenex nearby. And when we think about aligning and cleansing, balancing this upper part of our bodies, Kapalabhati is probably the best pranayama we can do for prana, little p, vayu. So prana vayu, being responsible for respiration coming in, Kapalabhati is both a pranayama, so it is definitely energizing, and you'll feel a little bit of buzz in your forehead, but it's also a kriya or a cleansing practice. So it also cleanses the sinuses and the lungs, okay, which is very important for good energy intake. So if you haven't done Kapalabhati before, the technique is a nice long inhalation through the nose, so passive inhalation, and then it's a hard, forceful exhale, still out the nose. Okay, so this is all done through the nose, and the exhale comes from the belly. So it sounds like, okay, and as best you can, you're isolating it to a contraction in the abdomen. Okay, you don't want your shoulders and your head to be moving around. Shouldn't look like or anything like that. Okay, so we're nice and tall and we're poised, and it's just this contraction at the abdomen. Okay, so we're going to do 11. We'll do 3 sets of 11, and I'm going to set it at a moderate pace. If this is something you do regularly and you can do it faster and you know that's part of your practice, go ahead and do it faster. If you start to feel dizzy or uncomfortable or like it's hard to catch your breath, slow it down. Okay, so it's very individual what works, but we're going to kind of take a middle line in this practice. Okay, So you might keep your hands on your abdomen just to feel that contraction. And let's do 11 breaths Kapalabhati. Okay, that was 11. So stop here. And ideally now you will need to blow your nose, cough, clear your throat. So go ahead and do that. So for me, most of my mucus is in my chest. I tend to get a little congested here. I'm usually clear in my nose, but you'll see in this practice, I think, where you might have some buildup, right? So whether it's nose blowing or throat clearing or a little coughing to clear your chest. Okay. And then in between rounds, we wait until our respiration returns to normal. So when you feel you're breathing normally again, we'll do another round. So let's again shoot for around 11. You can do a little less or a little more. Okay, you ready? Stand nice and tall. Okay, that was 11. You can let your hands come back down onto your knees. You might want to close your eyes here. Of course, blow your nose or clear your throat, cough as you need. And then just pay attention to the sensation of breath in the nostrils. So the breath might feel very fresh and cold coming in. You might feel a little bit of tingling in the forehead or just in the face in general, the head in general. So Kapalabhati means skull shining or making the head vibrant. Good. Let your eyes open. And now for this last round, I'm going to I'm going to let you pick whatever number of breaths you want to do, okay? So if 11 felt good, you were just right with 11, do 11 again. If you want to do a little less, if you're starting to feel kind of dizzy, if you feel great and you want to push it to 15, 16, go ahead and do that, okay? So it's a little different here because I can't hear you, but the breath should stay steady, okay? If it starts to become irregular, that's where you stop. When you're ready, nice and tall, inhale. That was 11. Again, when you're ready, stop, close your eyes. Bring your awareness to the head, the movement of breath in the nostrils. Good. And when the respiration returns to normal, let your eyes open. Let's bring the arms up overhead. And the left hand is going to hold the right wrist, elbows are bent. And just take a little dip to your left. And come center. And again, dip left. And center. Again, let's switch. Right hand holds the left wrist, little dip to your right. And center. And dip right. This time we're holding for a couple breaths. Good. And then tip up, interlace your fingers above your crown again. Big inhalation, palms press up. And exhale, arms down. Okay. So we're going to continue now working with releasing tension in the upper body. And this is a practice that we can do with a therapy ball, but I'm going to show it to you with your fingertips. And I usually just try to show you by pointing to myself, but I'm feeling a little adventurous. I'm going to try to bring the skeleton over. Okay, and back just a little bit. Okay, so you can all see his chest, right? This is Mr. Bones. So what we're going to be looking at here are pectoralis muscles, and we're going to be doing fingertip massage. So again, you can do this with a ball. You can put a therapy ball or a tennis ball and roll it in these areas. I didn't have a chance to let people know to bring a ball today, so we're going to use fingertips. Okay, and we're going to be working right along the side of the breastbone. So this is the breastbone or the sternum right here in center. And if you touch your own chest, you might be able to feel it. Get a little lower. Okay, so if you put your hand on your chest right over your heart, you'll feel that flat bone. And then if you move just off to the side a little bit, you might be able to feel where your ribs start. Okay, so we're all a little bit different. Your fingers might feel those ribs. If they don't feel them, that's fine. Just know you're about an inch off to either side. Okay, so we'll be working along the sides of the breastbone. And then we're also going to be working underneath the collarbone. So we'll be doing fingertip massage right along here underneath the collarbone. So again, you might be able to find your own collarbone. Mine sticks out a little bit. So you don't want to be pressing on the actual bone because there's nothing really there that's going to be helpful. You're just pressing on the bone. If you come underneath your collarbone, that'll be the place to work, okay? And then the other place, so there's going to be 3 areas we're looking at, is going to be the place where, so if you picture your pectoralis muscles, they start all along the breastbone, and then they kind of pull up into your shoulder. So the other place we'll be looking at is the front of the shoulder. Okay, that makes sense to everybody? Yeah, good. So we'll be along the breastbone, under the collarbone, and up here in the front of the shoulder. Okay, and we're going to do this lying down. So that's why I thought it would be helpful to kind of see it before we're all lying down. Okay. All right, so when you're ready, come down onto your back. We're going to have our knees bent and the soles of our feet on the floor. And let me just, this guy doesn't have the best posture, but he's helpful. Good. So lying down on your back, knees are bent, arms are alongside, and we're going to start by just tipping the knees. So just rocking the knees right to left. Good. I'm just getting a nice rotation in the spine, lower back, loosened up. And then we might draw the knees into the belly. So let's come to our wind reliever, hugging the knees in and continuing that right to left motion, rolling across the lower back. Good. And then you can let your feet come back down onto the floor, and we're going to let the knees drop right. So don't let them drop to the point where your left shoulder comes up. Make sure your left shoulder stays down on the floor, stays relaxed, but the knees are just falling right. And we're going to take the right hand to the left side of the chest. Okay. And see if you can find that place where the ribs start. Okay, so I'm going to sit up just in case that makes it a little more, a little easier for you to see. And we're going to come up here and we're just going to be drawing little circles down the side, down the left side of the breastbone. And whether you're using a therapy ball, tennis ball, or fingertips, you might find it's very sensitive here. And it might be a little achy. And if you've had something like a respiratory infection or a chest cold, pneumonia, anything like that, you might find that the chest is very sensitive. Good. And you may even find little sweet spots. Those are places where it almost hurts. And you could just hold the fingers there, pressing in a little bit without moving, and just breathe. So the whole time you're doing this, breathing deeply into your belly. And then we're going to start the fingertips moving out towards the shoulder underneath the collarbone. So same thing, little circles. Good. Just moving across the chest, out towards the shoulder. And then coming back in, back towards the breastbone. And again, just be with the sensation of it. What are you feeling? Good. The circles are good. Sometimes it's nice to just run the fingers too. Good. And then the next time you're out by your shoulder, you can actually press into the front of the shoulder. Good. Just helping the shoulder to release down. And long, deep breaths. And just notice how this self-massage does affect how we're breathing. All right, as we're working tension out, let your breath grow deeper. Good. And then when you're ready, the hand can come back to the floor. And we'll draw the belly in just a little bit, roll across the low back, and let your knees fall to your left. Again, the knees are only falling so far as the right shoulder stays down. And now the left hand will come across the body to the right side of the chest. And again, you're going to start up high where your ribs begin. Get up here by the top of the sternum or breastbone and drawing little circles down. And then working back up. Okay, and what's always nice with this kind of work is that you can decide how much pressure feels right. And then when you're ready, start to work out underneath the collarbone towards the front of your right shoulder. Again, either drawing circles or just dragging the fingers, pressing in. Good. And then working with the front of the shoulder itself. Good. And then making your way back along under the collarbone. And then when you're ready, you can take your hand away. And again, we're just going to tip the knees from side to side. Good. From here, let's move up into our table position. So coming to hands and knees. And we'll move through some cat and cow. Okay, so when you're ready, sit bones drop down towards your knees, arching up along the spine. Press the floor away, release the head. And then as you inhale, sit bones lift, belly falls, chest falls, look forward. Good. So just doing some nice slow movements along the spine. Big inhalation as you're dropping down into your cow. Long exhalation as you draw up into cat, squeeze the belly in. And then the next time the spine is at neutral, we're going to step the right foot back and we'll be coming up onto our side body. So I have my left hand down, left knee, and then the right foot is in line with the left arch. From here, I'm going to slide my foot back just a little bit. It's kind of more of a tripod, more balanced. And we're going to start a swimming motion. So the right arm is going to do the backstroke. Inhale forward, up and around. And if your shoulders are sore, or if you have any kind of injuries there, you can keep your elbow bent. All right, put a little less weight in the joint as you're moving. And the next time the fingers are at the ceiling, let's stay there. The palm is forward. This is a supported side plank. And we can open it up a little bit. So think about your chest rotating towards the ceiling. So the arm drops back a little bit, your eyes might come up. Good. If you feel your neck straining here, your eyes can be down on your left hand on the mat. Big opening. And then back to neutral. Hand down. Okay, let's switch, go to the other side now. So your left leg steps back and you have right wrist, right knee, right big toe, and left arch in a line. And then the right toes scooch behind for better balance. And we're going to backstroke with the left arm coming up, around and through. And nice big smooth movements. And the next time the fingertips are up towards the ceiling, let's stay there. Spread your fingers, open your palm, and we want to stay tall. So we're not sinking down into the shoulder, but we're pressing up away from the mat. And now opening up the chest. So let the heart rotate towards the ceiling a little bit. Arm drops back just a little bit. Long, deep breaths. Again, eyes are up if it's comfortable. Otherwise, eyes are down on the floor. And then let's come back to neutral. And bringing the hand back down, back to table pose, we're going to move into an open child. So from here, big toes touch, knees walk wide open, and we'll drop the belly down into the space between the legs. And as you're here, if you can feel the shoulder blades slide towards one another, chest is open, let your belly fall. And then start to walk back towards your body. We're going to do some facial massage down here on the floor. So you can stay in this position if you like the knees open. If you're more comfortable with the legs closed, you can bring the legs closed. And we're going to be lowering the forehead down to the mat. You'll have your hands to support you. Okay. And you can decide again for yourself how much body weight to put into the forehead. If you lift your seat a little bit, it'll be more. If you sit back, it'll be less. And we're just going to roll from the space between the eyebrows out towards the ear and back. And then the other way and back. Okay, so head is down on the floor. And I'm just rolling from side to side. I want a little bit more. I'm going to lift my seat, put a little more body weight into the head. And the hands are here to support you. So don't strain your neck. And then we're going to start moving vertically. So from the space between your eyebrows now, you're going to roll up to your hairline and back to the space between the eyebrows. And now if your neck feels perfectly fine, there's no strain in your neck, you can roll all the way to the crown of your head. Do not roll beyond the crown of your head. Okay, so that is an unnatural way to move the neck. It's not healthy. But if you're okay, you can move to the place where you're right on your crown. Always moving slowly. Yeah. And the next time you're at your eyebrow center, you can walk the body back up. Okay, we're coming back to our side plank position now. So from here, you're back in table. And once again, the right leg is going to step back. Okay. And this time we're going to be holding this as a balance pose. So the left hand might step just a little bit beyond the shoulder because I'm going to shift as the right leg lifts. Okay. Again, the left toes can come behind for better balance. Arm can come up. And we can do this wide open. Or if you like, you can bind the pose. And by bind the pose, I mean the hand can hold the ankle. And we're here for about 5 breaths. If you're binding the pose, you can now release, come back open. And now the right foot will come to the floor and we're going to move into a side bend. So pop up, left arm over the ear. Good. And then cartwheel your hands, come back to your table position. Okay, and so we'll do our balance now on the left side. Left leg steps back, come to your side plank position, right toes behind. And then the right hand might step a little further so you can shift up and lift your leg. Let me take this wide open. And then again, if you'd like to bind to the pose, come back, find the left ankle. We're nice and steady for about 5 breaths. And when you get to 5, we're going to come back open. And then the left foot drops, pop up, and side bend. Good. From here, cartwheel back to your table. And then we'll walk ourselves to kneeling down if it's okay. If kneeling down doesn't feel good in your knees or ankles, you can be kneeling up. Let's give our wrists a little break. We'll bring the arms out in front of us and make claws. And then let's rotate the claws. And so wrist curls. And switch direction, circles again, because this probably means we're coming back on our hands. So good to take a little break. Any stiffness out. Good, give them a shake. Hands are back by the shoulders, and let's press through water. So push through the palms of your hands and then make fists and drop. Good, hold, hold. And then again, shake it out. So the next thing we'll be doing is we're going to be moving between down dog and high plank. Okay, so on the exhale, it'll be a nice luxurious down dog. And then as you inhale, you'll be coming back into a nice luxurious down dog. And then as you exhale, we're going to float out over the wrists into a high plank. Exhale, squeeze the belly, tighten the buttocks. So it'll be a firming kind of movement. Okay. So all will become clear. Let's come back to our table. And then from here, we're going to press up into down dog. So just start here by spending a moment or two bending your knees, pedaling the feet. And maybe lifting up and down on the toes. Yeah, it's kind of priming your down dog. And now take a nice big inhalation. Lift your sit bones high, really lengthen through the arms, through the upper back. And then as you exhale, we'll come out over the wrists, squeeze your belly in, firm your buttocks tight. And then as you're ready to inhale, flip back into down dog. And as you're ready to exhale, out into a high plank, exhale, squeeze. Good. So keep moving. And I'd like you to time this to the natural rhythm of your breath. Good. So again, slow is good. Take your time. Good. So this is a very wonderful strengthening movement for the shoulders and upper back. Let's see, we got one more. Inhale, draw back. Exhale, come forward and squeeze. And then the knees drop, ankles straighten, child's pose. Yeah, in child's pose, please be able to bring your forehead down so that you can rest. If you want to grab a block and place it under your forehead, you can do that. Good. And then again, let's walk the hands back towards the body. Good. Slowly coming up, but when you do whatever your hands and wrists would like. All right, so some wrist rolls, some shaking, gentle shaking. Okay, getting the hands back online. Good. All righty, so next we're going to be setting up in a low lunge. So from this position, from my kneeling position, I'm going to step my right foot forward. And a good low lunge means that when I'm here, you can see it better if I'm sideways, my right knee is over my ankle and my the top of my left foot, as best as I can, is on the mat. So let's not have toes turned under here. Let's have the foot as flat as it goes. And if there's a little bit of a rise there, that's okay. Good. And we're just going to move back and forth. So we can do it tall, hands on the hips. Turn again so I can see you. And when you end, your knee is over your ankle, not beyond your foot. So look down, make sure that is true. Good. And then let's drop down. Let's stay here, find steady. The arms are up by the ears. And now as you inhale, we're going to lift the heart and the eyes to the ceiling, taking a little back bend. You can see that spinal extension is very good for Prana Vayu, right? For opening up the chest, for bringing in a lot of energy. And our back bends are said to be energizing. Good, 5 breaths. And at the bottom of your 5th breath, let's bring the hands back down to the floor. We're going to do a hamstring stretch here. So the sit bones will come back and we'll come up onto our heel. Back a little. Good. And then your right knee goes as straight as it goes for you. You can straighten your leg, go ahead. Otherwise, there's a little bend in the knee. And we're just bowing down over the right leg. And then from here, we'll come back to our lunging position. So once again, right knee is over right ankle, and we're up. We're going to move into a twist now. So we're going to start to turn the torso right. So think about your belly turning towards your inner thigh, and you're looking off to your right. So it depends how tightly you can twist. You can stay just like this, and we're just kind of holding the knee. Or maybe your left elbow will hook the outside of your right knee. And then the hands come into a prayer position. Okay. So if the left elbow hooks, it comes to the outside of the right knee. Otherwise, the hand just supports the outside of the knee. And just notice that as you're here and twisting, as you're looking right, as you're turning your body right, your knee is staying over your ankle. So sometimes when we're twisting, we forget about our base. So just making sure that that right leg is steady and staying in position. Good. One more breath. And then let's come back. Once again, framing the foot, and we'll step the foot back into our kneeling position, coming down. Good. And we'll be again in our child's pose, forehead to the floor or to a block. This time the arms are alongside. So have your closed child's pose. Good. And from your closed child's pose, press your toenails down into the floor. Firm your calves, firm your thighs, lift and squeeze your pelvic floor, press your legs together. Keep breathing though, don't hold your breath. Squeeze the low body and let go. Big inhalation through the nose and then exhale out the mouth. And now let's walk the hands back towards the body, coming up. And we're going to be stepping the left leg forward. And so again, looking at our crescent moon and twist position. Left knee is over the left ankle as you kind of walk your toes forward. Good. And just move a couple times. Good. If you're on a hardwood floor and your mat's not enough padding for your kneecap, do have a blanket. There's a little extra padding under your knee. Good. So dropping down into the left knee, find steady first. Feel balanced. And then the arms are up by the ears. Lift the chest, lift the eyes to the ceiling. Again, a little back bend, open your chest. Good, big breathing here. And from your toes to your fingertips, just feel your body in the crescent moon. Wide open, strong. One more breath. And then as you're ready, bring your hands back down to the floor and we'll move into our hamstring stretch. Sit bones move back, coming up onto your left heel. And there are your toes. And just bowing over the leg. So you can keep your back flat if that is better for you. Or you can drop your head and shoulders and round over the leg. And then as you're ready, let's move back into our lunge position. So hips glide forward, we come back up, and we're thinking now again about twisting. So the belly, the navel will rotate in towards the inner thigh. We're looking left. The right hand can hold the outside of the left knee, or if it works, right elbow can hook the outside of the left knee, and the hands can come to prayer. Again, stay aware of your base, your foundation. Don't let your knee fall inward. Knee stays over the ankle, nice and strong. And once you're there, maybe the pelvis can drop a little more. And keep your breath big, even though the torso is twisted. And then when you're ready, come back and frame the leg. And we're going to bring the left leg back by the right. And again, walk into that closed child's pose, arms alongside. And once you're in your child's pose, tops of the feet press into the floor, squeeze your calves, thighs, lift and squeeze the pelvic floor, press the thighs into one another, keep breathing. Hold, hold, and release. Big inhalation through the nose, and then exhale out the mouth. Very good. Okay, from here, let's come down onto our bellies. And we're going to do some moving cobra. So for this, we're going to be on the forehead, and the hands will be on either side of the rib cage, elbows are up. And on your next inhalation, lift your head and shoulders as high as you can without using your hands, and look to your left. And then as you exhale, the head comes down, the nose brushes the mat. And then inhale, lift your head and shoulders, look as far as you can to your right. Again, exhale, nose brushes the mat. Good, inhale, lift and look, just like somebody called your name behind you. Exhale, nose brushes. Good. So just keep going right along with your breath. Hands are there to steady you, but it is your upper back strength that lifts you. And one more time to each side. And then let's come down and rest on the right cheek. So once you're down on your right cheek, let your arms come on either side of your body. And we're going to bend the knees and just fan the low legs. Again, so these are our windshield wipers. And see if you can let go of your lower back. And then we're going to keep the arms where they are. Let's bring the legs flat again. So we're on our kneecaps, tops of the feet. And we're going to be doing a moving downward facing boat. So for this one, you're back on your forehead. And as you inhale, lift your head, shoulders, legs, arms. Reach behind, inhale. And then as you exhale, come down and rest again on your right cheek. Forehead, inhale, lift, downward facing boat. Exhale, relax, left cheek. And forehead, inhale, lift up, downward facing boat. Exhale, relax, right cheek. So you got it, keep going. Forehead, inhale, come up. Exhale, relax, left cheek, come down. Keep going, 2 more of these. And when you end on your left cheek, stay there. Okay, resting on your left cheek and just letting the weight of your arms relax onto the floor. Let your head be heavy. Again, we're going to bend at the knees, point the big toes up at the ceiling. And this time we're going to spin at the knee joints. So the calves are making circles together. And moving one way and then switch, move the other way. And then let's bring the legs back down to the floor, again, back to neutral. Hands are on either side of the rib cage, come back to your forehead, and let's press back into child's pose. This time extended child's pose. And then start to walk back towards your body. And start to bring yourself up. Okay. And now we're going to be coming up to standing. So let's move into our mountain pose. And if you look down at the mat, the feet are hip distance apart. And let's just start with some nice, easy twisting. Okay, so flail the arms from side to side. Keep your eyes forward. Good. That starts to feel nice and fluid. We can step a little wider. And we might be coming up onto opposite toes. Hearing again some clicks and cracks. We've been down on the floor for quite a while. Feels good to stand up. Good. And then let's bring the legs back to neutral. So back to ankles underneath hip joints. And now the heels of the hands are in the low back. And let's bring the hips around. So just make a nice big circle with the pelvis. Good. Other direction. And then standing again in our mountain pose, we're going to interlace the fingers behind the back. And as your elbows straighten, the feeling is that your hands are moving down towards the floor. And so we're kind of gently drawing the shoulders back. Good. Hands are moving down and the chin is tipped up towards the ceiling. So if you keep your teeth together and you lift your chin towards the ceiling, you should be feeling this through your neck and upper chest. As your hands are moving down, you should be feeling this through the tops of your shoulders. Good. And when you get to the perfect place, just hold there and bring your awareness to your throat chakra. So your throat center is right at the notch in your collarbone. All right, so we learned all about the collarbone. Maybe you can imagine the breath moving in and out through the space of the throat center. Good. And now relax that. Bring your gaze straight forward. Good. Let your arms go. Just swing the arms. Good. Do some scissors. And then we're going to interlace the fingers again behind the back. So again, fingers are interlaced. Shoulders are down away from the ears. Shoulders are back. Straighten your elbows. And then just see if the arms can lift up off the back a bit. So we're taking the arms away from the back. And now your gaze is forward. The neck stays neutral. And imagine that you could breathe into your sternum. So breathing right into that space in the center of the chest. softly, guiding these shoulder blades back, shoulders back. Good. Try not to strain or pull. And if it's better for your hands to be resting on your sacrum, that's fine. Good. And then relax. Again, let's shake the arms out. All righty, so if you want to grab your block, I have my block here. And we're going to have the block out in front of the body. We'll interlace the fingers. Again, the hands are going to rest on the sacrum. And let's just do a few moving forward bends. So inhale, tip out over your block. When your body stops, deep bend in the knees. Exhale, come up. Again, inhale, tip forward, shoulders are back. Deep bend in the knees. Exhale, come up. And this time when you tip out over your block, stay there. You're looking down at your block. And we're going to see if we can release the hands to the block. If that means your knees bend, that's fine. If it's easier to have a tall block, that's fine as well. Okay, so whatever it takes in your knees and in your block to bring your the heels of your hands down onto the block. Good. And the block is right underneath your heart. Let's take a little bit wider of a stance. So maybe step the feet an inch or two left and right. And then we'll bring the left forearm into the lower back. And the belly turns left, the chest turns left, and the left arm lifts. So this is our windmill. And come back to your block. Good. You let the left hand rest. Right arm is in the lower back, and the belly turns right, chest turns right, arm lifts. And back to your block. Good. So let's take it one more time to each side. As you're ready, let the body rotate left, arm lifts. Good. Hold here and breathe. And then come back down. And other side, arm lifts. Right fingertips to the ceiling. And then relax, come back down. Good. Soften the knees, come up. Good. We're going to step ourselves back to mountain pose. And we're going to just do 5 breaths where we lift up onto the toes. So fix your gaze straight ahead. Inhale, come up onto the toes. Exhale, come down, press back. Inhale, come up. And exhale back. Keep going. This time we're going to stay up there. So lift up onto your toes, arms are overhead, and we're gently pressing the ball of the big toe into the floor. And then heels down, arms down. Hands come to the hips. Let's bend down into the knees and bring the sit bones back. And just staying low in our chair pose for 5 breaths. And then we'll come back up. Good. And we're going to get ready to come down on the floor. We're going to do one more thing, which will be a supported fish pose. So for this one, I'd like you to have your block again. And it's a good idea to pad the block somehow. So not everybody cares to do that. But if you have a towel, a yoga blanket, a Mexican blanket, something like that. You can place it over your block so that the edges aren't as hard. If you don't have a block, you could be doing this with a, even a rolled yoga mat will work. Okay. But we're going to try with the block. And if you can imagine that I have a blanket over my block, I won't put one there. And actually, I'm going to bring my skeleton back since I have him today. Okay. So the place where we want the block to be is right at his shoulder blade should be, I think, a little bigger, right here in the thoracic spine. Okay. So you should feel the bottom of the block right here in your mid-back. It shouldn't be anywhere here. You can see like his ribs should be lower. He's wired together a little bit. You don't want it in your low back at all. Okay, it's just supporting this, the rib cage. And just while I have him here, I was thinking this. When we talk about where the throat chakra is, I always say that notch in the collarbone. And again, if you can't feel it with your hands, you can see it on him, this place here. Okay, so here's the top of his sternum, and it's here. Here are the two collarbones, and there's kind of a soft spot right here. Here on you. You might be able to feel it with your own fingers, right? Here's the collarbone, right? And it's hard, and then also there's kind of like this soft spot. All right, so let's try our supported fish. Come on, Mr. Bones. And then it depends on how long your upper body is, if your head will touch the floor or not touch the floor. If it doesn't and that's irritating, you might want to, again, have a folded blanket, a little cushion, something to support your head. So I'm lining up the bottom of my rib cage. For ladies, it's where your bra strap is. And we'll drop the head back. Okay, so my head floats a little bit in space without my blanket there. And I could take a blanket or something to support it, but and then I'm just letting the arms open, palms are up. And feel free to adjust it a little bit. I know that when we're together in person, I can offer you some other supports for this, but you just have to use your own judgment, kind of position it in different places, find that sweet spot. And if you don't have anything for your head, you can always use your own hands. Like that. And let's just do 5 long chest breaths here. So feeling that the breath is entering right through the heart center, filling the space of the chest. And then exhale and just kind of release the weight of your body over your block. Good. Everybody doing well. All right, very good. And then as you get ready to come out of this, take your time. So you might just kind of slowly roll to your side, roll off of your block. Good. Be very careful with your neck, gentle with your neck. And then start to prepare your space for our final relaxation. Okay, so if you need to flip off some lights or grab a fleece or socks, go ahead and do that. And I'm just gonna turn down our big studio lights here. And just bringing yourself into Shavasana. And thinking about that idea of having the chest open. So your block is gone, but can you still feel the shoulder blades moving in towards one another, the shoulders down away from the ears, and the chest wide open? And the chin is tucked just a little bit so the back of the neck is long. And for a few breaths now, bring your awareness to the inside of the nose. Feel the coolness of your inhalation and the warmth of your exhalation. And start to relax the weight of your body into the floor. Heavy head, heavy arms, heavy legs. And there may be the feeling that the floor underneath you is rising to hold you. Take a nice long inhalation. And then feel your exhalation travel into the crown of your head, down the length of your body to the pelvic floor. Feel your inhalation start at your pelvic floor and travel up to the crown of your head. Feel your next exhalation move down to the knees. Inhale from the knees to the crown. Exhale from the crown down to your ankle joints. Inhale from your ankle joints to the crown of the head. Exhale down to the bottoms of your feet. And for the next few breaths, breathe from the crown to the bottoms of your feet. Inhalation traveling up the body, exhalation traveling down. And now feel your next exhalation travel down to your ankle joints. Inhale from your ankle joints to your crown. Exhale from your crown to your ankles. And now your next exhalation travels down to your knee joints. Inhale from your knee joints to your crown. Exhale from your crown to your knees. And now your next exhalation travels down to the floor of the pelvis. So exhale to the pelvic floor, and then inhale from the pelvic floor to the crown. And just feeling that wave of breath traveling right along the center line of the body, right along the spine. And now the next time you exhale, exhale down to the navel center. Inhale from the navel center, so this is the space right by the belly button, up to the crown. Exhale from the crown down to the navel. And your next exhalation travels to the heart center. Inhale from the heart center to the crown. Exhale from the crown to the heart center. Long flowing breaths. Your next exhalation travels down to the throat center. Inhale through the throat center to the crown. Exhale from the crown to the throat center. And your next exhalation travels from the crown out through the nostrils. And then inhale through your nostrils to the space between your eyebrows. Exhale from the space between your eyebrows out through the nostrils. The next time you inhale, draw the inhalation up to the crown of your head. And exhale down to your feet. Inhale from your feet all the way up to the crown and then beyond the crown of the head. Feel your exhale forming somewhere above your head, traveling down the whole length of your body and out through the bottoms of your feet. Your inhalation is forming somewhere below your feet, traveling through your body and out beyond the crown of the head. So just keep following this pathway of breath from somewhere beyond your feet, somewhere beyond the crown. So the inhalation travels through you, beyond you to infinity. The exhalation travels down again through the body, out through the feet, to infinity. And you might get the feeling that these breaths don't start and stop within the physical body. Rather, you are part of a wave of prana, a stream of prana that enters the body for a time and moves on. And you might start to get the sense that we think about my inhalation, my exhalation, my breath, but that we all share this pool of prana, drawing from the source of infinite energy as we draw in through inhalation and releasing our own energy back out as we exhale. So we start to feel very permeable. Maybe we start to feel a little less solid, a little more liquid. Prana flows in, flows out. And the boundaries between the world around us and our own physical body blur. And now start to make your way into your seated meditation pose. So very gently rolling your body to one side and then coming up to seated. And once in your seated meditation posture, your legs are folded. Shoulders are back and down, and we're tall through the crown of the head. And bringing your awareness back into the space of the nostrils. Paying attention to this incoming breath, the coolness of the inhalation. The breath is long, smooth, and nourishing. And now allow the sound of the mantra to come forward. As you inhale, hear so. As you exhale, hum. So. Hum. And the mind relaxes in the vibration of the mantra. Breath and mind flowing together in an unbroken stream. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Peace, peace, peace. Now for a few moments, cup your hands over your face. You may have your fingertips on your eyebrows, the heels of your hands on your chin. And just feel the warmth of your own breath. Allow your eyes to open to this darkness. And allow your awareness to be drawn back out as the hands come away. And thank you all so much for being here today. Happy New Year. Good to see you. Namaste. So that was Prana Vayu. Next week we'll work at Apana Vayu.
Sounds good, Tracy. See you next week.
Yep, I'll be here.
Take care. Bye, everyone.
Thanks, Tracy.
My pleasure.
Bye. Thank you, Tracy.
Thank you. Bye.
My pleasure. Good to see
Bye.
you.
Good to see you.
Wonderful day.
You too. Thank you.
Alrighty.